My father used to always say, man, your friends are what you can count on one hand.
Are we just being taken for mugs?
I'm not an idiot, I'm not a feminine man.
Watch how they are with other people. That's a sign of how they're going to be with you.
A day's going to come back here where you're not going to be able to be there for them. And they're going to take it deep. They're going to take it real deep.
Your own close friend is able to stab you. She cut the baby out of her stomach, murdered her, left her by the side of the road. How do you navigate this? How do you avoid this?
The one time I came home, my sister's upstairs, so I'm expecting to go home to an empty yard and I see a bunch of men in the living room. I said, what are you lot doing here, bro? My sister's upstairs. And I don't even know who you are, bruv. I remember one time I came downstairs, this brother had let in a don who was sleeping on my couch. I was baffed.
This is the meat and the bones, this is the juicy part. What are some of the telltale signs?
Okay guys, in this episode I got a little bit personal. And I felt like it was necessary so I can share these lessons with you guys, these real life experiences, so you can also take heed. And guys, I'm going to be planning to do this inshallah ta'ala throughout the rest of the podcast, Bhai, Righteous and Rich. If you guys subscribe at this channel, inshallah ta'ala, you're going to see a lot more that's coming. And yeah man, there's a lot I've been holding back throughout the years, but I feel like it's time to just keep it real because I know how much you guys will benefit from this. So subscribe inshallah ta'ala, and hopefully you guys will benefit, man. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of Chai with my Bhai. In today's episode, we're going to be going through the following 5 points, inshallah. The first, why someone you love and trust might turn on you, harm you, perhaps even murder you. Join us as we take a deep dive into the dark side of friendships. The second thing, discover the telltale signs that will reveal to you which of your friends might one day betray you. Number 3, learn how to shield yourself from these potential backstabbers. Number 4, if the unthinkable happens, a step-by-step guide on how to ensure you get justice. And last but not least, number 5, the type of person that you should never forgive. Stay tuned, because this episode is going to be one, I promise you, you can't afford to miss. If you're struggling with your deen and your dunya, we share Islamic advices and raw experiences that if you implement and learn from, I promise you, they will change your life. With that said, let's get into the episode. So the reason we decided to do this topic today, some of you may be aware there was a missing person case a while ago from Hounslow. There was a brother, Muslim brother, who went missing. It was all over the news. It was all over the social media. There were appeals.
COVID time.
It was around about COVID time. There were appeals by his family, friends. There was a big campaign, and the brother wasn't found. However, recently I saw an article that mentioned that they actually found who did it. And as I was reading the article, I remember it just got worse and worse, and actually felt sick to my stomach, reading how the person who murdered him was actually one of his close friends. Not only was he a close friend, but after murdering him, rolling him up into a carpet, taking him into a forest, ditching his body there, burning it, he went to his house. This was a person his family trusted. This was a person, the same day. It's the same day he murdered him. He went to his family's house as a as a friend to the family, as a person, you know, I'm here to help. Yeah, no, not because at that time he was just missing.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, let's help find him. And eventually someone went in, you know, gave some evidence, and they uncovered who it really was. And this just got me thinking, like, how do you get to a level, to a point where your own close friend is able to stab you?
Apologies for the interruption, but if you're a Muslim that's looking for a halal 6-figure business opportunity, you're going to want to listen to what I have to say. Now, I'm sure online you've seen the craze and the fad. Everyone's making money. They're making 6 figures, 7 figures. And some are doing it off of AI, some are doing it off of copywriting, crypto, the whole lot. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, that's all well and good, but I don't have any of these skills to be able to make that type of money. You might also be thinking, I don't have the type of money that's required to invest in being able to create this kind of income. Well, if that's the case, perhaps I have an opportunity for you. Myself and Abu Bakr train people how to set up Umrah companies. 6-figure Umrah companies. We've helped train over 36 companies that are existing right now that are making money, some that have already reached 6-figure status. And guess what? 80% of these didn't have any prior social media presence before they started. We showed them and trained them how to get to that stage. Now, don't take it from us. Just look at the feedback that we received from our students. Now, if you're interested in learning how to get involved, we can show you how to get involved by overcoming a £50,000 initial investment that's usually required to be able to be involved in the Umrah industry. And we're going to show you how to overcome that in a completely legal way. All you have to do to be able to access that training is to click on the link below, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll give you access to the video where you can get involved in the Umrah industry without having to put 50k up. And then if you're still interested above and beyond that, after that video, you can apply to be a part of our Umrah setup course, inshallah ta'ala. But for now, just click the link below, check out the video, and in the meantime, let's get back to the podcast. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
And we've had experiences where we've had people that have been close to us, right, that have betrayed us, you could say. And I'm sure every single person watching this also has people that have betrayed them. If not, there's people right now that are in their circle that may one day betray them. May Allah protect everyone watching this from that. How do you navigate this? How do you avoid this? How do you, and obviously our own experiences with this. Me, myself, I guess I've been a person who has had a very small inner circle, let's say. And I guess you could argue maybe I was a bit too distant from people. Closed off to the point where people would actually come up to, was it you? Some people came up to you and said, does Abu Bakr not like me? Because my thing was always just, bro, like, the entry requirements to come into my circle are very strict. I don't let anyone nilly-willy, just come in. What would you say your experiences with this have been?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like I said in it, like I was saying to you yesterday, when I actually deep it, the people that I have the biggest problems with were people that I used to once consider very close. And then I asked you the question, I said, bro, why is that the case, And you mentioned this crazy statistic, which is that you're most likely to be murdered by someone who you knew, someone who you trusted. 54% of men who get murdered by someone that they knew, and 75% of women, something like that, end up getting murdered by someone that they knew, that you were close to. And the examples that are given are spouses, friends, family members, colleagues, acquaintances, neighbors, people that you trust. Like this is mad. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're most likely to be murdered. Now, alhamdulillah, I've not been murdered. I'm still here. The Ikhwanis haven't got to murder me just yet.
I mean, you killed Dharma yourself, right? Well, man murdered himself. He took it to another level.
But point being is that the people that I've got that seem to have, like, the deepest issues, unresolved issues with, were people that really once knew, all right? And remember, one of our teachers once, he mentioned to us that one of the reasons why you could have problems with your friends is because when two things are close to each other, they're likely to harm each other easier, or it's easier to harm. For example, the analogy of the tongue and the teeth. The tongue and the teeth are very close, but due to how close their relationship is, every now and again you get bitten, but that bite is very painful. It's not like another bite. Does that make sense? So if a friend does something to upset you, like, look, if I'm walking down the street and a random person says to me, "You fool," but who are you? But like, if someone that I love, who's a confidant of mine, someone who's very close, he looks at me and says, "Bro, you're an absolute idiot." You know that? Like, it could hurt more because of the close nature of that relationship. And if you or him or both of you don't have good conduct, good character, good traits, and you also don't know the procedure of how to reconcile these problems, then that's a recipe for disaster.
And I think it kind of just logically kind of makes sense that people that are close to you, that know you, that are in your circle or that you're acquainted with, are the ones that are going to be likely to have issues that lead to these kind of crimes. For example, anger. For example, you have an argument. For example, jealousy. For like, all of these things are reasons for like, I remember not too long ago, I came across this crime that had been committed. This woman was pregnant, right? And one of her, I can't remember if it was a friend, I believe it was a friend of hers, right? Her friend had been pretending to be pregnant the whole time. Like, at the same time that she was pregnant. She'd be putting up pictures saying, my baby's due and this, that, and blah, blah, blah.
A apologies for the interruption, but I think you're going to really want to hear this. Now, myself and Abu Bakr moved to the UAE, to Dubai and Sharjah last year. And since then, people have been asking us non-stop, Akhi, how can we also move to Dubai? Now, there are different ways, but there are two ways that are most common and most cost effective. The first way is to set up a business license, and that's probably the cheapest, easiest way. The second way is to invest in a property here. Now, alhamdulillah, we found a company here run by a brother that we know personally, who's been helping brothers set up business licenses and also invest in properties in a completely halal way. Now, the experience that we had with him was second to none. I mean, the first time round, we had to pay so much extra. We're talking thousands of pounds extra to get our business license and our visa sorted. With him, it was very smooth, it was very swift, and Allahumma barik, there were no issues. And as far as more up until now, he's had a 100% success rate in helping people get their visas and their business licenses. Also, when it comes to property, Allahumma barik, he's one of the first in providing the completely halal property investment solutions here in the UAE. So if you're interested, check it out, inshallah ta'ala. Go to the link below and get more information if you're interested in. With that said, let's get back to the podcast, inshallah.
When the woman was coming to full term, she cut the baby out of her stomach, murdered her, left her by the side of the road. And this is in America.
Oh, I read that. Oh,
and took the baby to the hospital and said, "Yeah, I've just given birth." But they realized that, wait, you don't have any of the signs of pregnancy. You don't have any, and then they realized some other police unit must have called in. And there was a woman that was found by the side of the road. Her stomach had been cut open.
Oh, what?
And this was someone it was a friend of hers.
That's mad.
Who knew her. So the point being, people that know you are more likely. Of course, there are random acts of violence that happen, but they're few and far between.
But that's what I'm saying. You see what it is, Abu Bakr, like, because you said earlier, which I don't know if I fully agree with you. You said it logically makes sense, and I feel like not necessarily, because it depends on the person. Because look, we are very close, right? Alhamdulillah. And we've got maybe 2-3 other brothers that we can mention in our very, very, very close circle. Like, we have a very close circle. I'm not going to mention the names of the other 2-3 brothers, and I'm going to let the other people who think that they're hopeful candidates believe that they might be them. Does that make sense? But let's only let 2-3 others. Now, alhamdulillah, we might have issues here and there. Who doesn't, right? But we've never had these type of issues amongst ourselves.
So you're right.
But
if I was to go missing one day, I think you'd be prime suspect number one. I'm with you every day. You know my routine. You know where I live.
no,
the
the reason why I disagree with that. The reason why I disagree with that is because I'm, walillah alhamdul minna, we ask Allah for istiqamah. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a feminine man. Like, I'm saying, if you're brethren, there's a couple men I know that if I still kept them around right now and I go missing, then yeah, maybe you should suspect him. Because he's a guy who's got certain characteristics that are not good for a friend. That's why, for example, like, because I thought of the question, I said, why is it
But it's not just about good friends. People that you know.
People that you
neighbor.
know. Yeah.
Imagine you have beef with your neighbor. Imagine your neighbor's a prostitute who just plays loud music and is jarring. Imagine your neighbor's someone who's smoking in your yard and you have an argument with him. Like, remember that video? We saw a video, a disturbing video, wallahi, the one with the snow.
Yeah, that was peak.
What? The one with the snow, like there was a couple that were shoveling snow. Apparently they were shoveling snow onto the guy's yard. The guy comes out, what are you doing? They have an argument. The guy goes inside, gets a gun, point blank, shoots the man, shoots the woman, runs out of bullets, goes inside, gets an assault rifle, comes back. They're still alive, moving around. He just shoots them, goes inside, shoots
It's a video.
Yeah, it's a video.
Yeah, it's a video, bro. It's peak.
Bro, it's
Yeah.
screaming.
But you watch some
and the
crazy
neighbours.
stuff.
The point that I'm making is, what I'm trying to say is, people that you know, there's pros and cons. Of course, like knowing someone, bro, your network is your net worth. Even we say that. Knowing with the right people can really help you. But the point is, knowing people, they also get to know you. So it may be that you have problems, you have issues.
That's what I'm saying. So it comes down to two things. That when you have, why is it that you would have such crazy issues with someone that you know, someone that you're close to, someone that you trust? Is one or two. Either you're the problem or they're the problem. Now, in this podcast, I don't think we're going to too much discuss if you're the problem. Like, if you're the problem, you just need to pattern up. If you're a problem, maybe, no one deserves to be oppressed, but maybe you're not being oppressed. Maybe it's just what's happening to you, not you getting them off. But point being is that either the problem is you or the problem is them. But here, we're here to talk about the problem being them. That's really what we're here to talk about. Does that make sense? So I feel like, yeah, that's what it boils down to, man. Like, why would someone who is your close friend murder you, or most people don't get murdered, alhamdulillah, like violate you, rip you off, backstab you, take your girl in a halal or a haram way, backbite you, lie, rally people against you, start having negative assumptions of you. Either the problem is you or them. Either you've got reason to rub them the wrong way, or they have certain characteristics that are just nasty.
Okay, so that's point number one. why would a person who is close to you, who you trust, you love, turn on you? Point number 2 now. This is the meat and the bones. This is the juicy part. What are some of the telltale signs that someone can know in order to have an idea of which kind of friends are going to betray them?
I can tell you first and foremost, the first sign is fear of Allah. Taqwa. Wallahi man, it's going to upset me now. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. That the believers are the ones who, when Allah's name is mentioned, their hearts tremble in fear. This teaches us that, and these are real believers, that the name of Allah, just the name, mention Allah, is something that should have an effect. Fearing Allah Azza wa Jal, subhanallah, if you find that you're in a relationship with a friend, you have a friendship, and the name of Allah doesn't hold weight, for example, if you tell him fear Allah, or if you tell him an ayah, or a hadith, or this is haram, he takes it light. And sometimes you get fooled by brothers with beards. You get fooled by brothers who...
Trousers above the ankle.
Yeah, brothers who do da'wah. Sometimes, yeah, people of deen, that you wouldn't expect this from. You told him an ayah, for example, don't backbite. He's not backbiting, I'm telling the truth. You know the hadith, the Prophet said, if you told the truth, it's backbiting, if you lied, it's slander. He's having negative assumptions. Allah said, اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. Don't have negative assumptions. Much of it is sinful. No, it's not assumption, it's clear. Do you have dalil? No, it's an assumption, but it's clear. Come on, man. One of our friends said it to us the other day. He said, if a person doesn't stop at the evidence, meaning when you mention an ayah to him, when you mention a hadith to him, if he doesn't stop, then that's a person who shouldn't be in your friendship circle. Because what parameter do we have? Is it based on my logic and your logic? Is it based on my emotions, your emotion, my preference, your preference? Is it based on what? Culture? Bruv, it's based on Quran, Sunnah. That's how we know what's right and wrong. So if you're a person who and brothers, wallah, if you have a friend and you find that he doesn't stop at the kitab and the Sunnah, and when you say to him, fear Allah, or sometimes when you say, wallahi, there was a discussion that I had with a brother the other day. And I said to him, wallahi, like it was a situation where he wanted to know. I was trying to make a point. I said, wallahi, I didn't do that. And I kept repeating it. And it was a very sad situation because I remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. But the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, if someone swears by Allah, you have to take it now. Because the name of Allah...
you can't disagree with it.
Yeah.
You can't say...
Because a lot of people wonder why Adam alayhi salam ate from the fruit when Allah clearly told him and his wife, don't eat from the tree. Sorry, don't go near the tree. And he still ate from the tree, right? Allah said, وَقَاسَمَهُمَا. Shaitan, he swore by Allah. And he kept swearing by Allah again and again and again and again and again. Saying, Wallahi, 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 eat from it, it's going to be good for you. The scholars mention Adam alayhi salam couldn't fathom that a person would swear by Allah and lie. So he went and ate. Well, he was mistaken, he made tawbah. But why would a Prophet of Allah being directed to by Allah don't obey shaitan? It's because he swore by Allah. So point being, when someone says by Allah, if he lies, that's his L. But for you is, wallahi man, like I was in this conversation and I was saying, wallahu shahidun ala ma aqul. Allah is a witness over what I'm saying. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen said, if you say that statement, and you lie, it's actually kufr. If you swear by Allah and you lie, it's a major sin, but it's not kufr. But if you say, Wallahu shahidun ala ma aqul, Allah is a witness over that which I'm saying right now, that's mocking it now. Because you're saying, you're making it, like, you're actually like quoting it out to Allah's, you know what I'm saying? So if you say that and you lie, it's kufr. I'm still having to explain myself after I said that. So then, the thing is, a man will see these signs in a person from before. So you should just never have them kind of relationships in the first place. Do you understand? Like, if you can see this brother saying fear Allah, saying wallahi, saying Allah said, the Prophet said, it don't mean much for man. Assalamu alaikum, man.
I remember recently there was a brother who was mentioning that even between him and his wife, he's got a thing where he says, no matter how heated things get, if I say fair Allah, if you say fair Allah, like we have to just stop. And that's something even I said to my wife. And from now on, if we ever get into an argument or anything that ever happens, I want you to say fair Allah. If I say fair Allah, no matter, even if I'm right, even if you're wrong, even if you're right, and even if I'm wrong, both of us just stop and just take a breather, take a point out,
100%.
and just say, you know what, let's reassess this or come back to it, or whatever it might be. But that is very important. That when
100%.
Allah's name is mentioned, it has to hold weight. It
Yeah.
can't just be. There's even a hadith, right? There'll come a time when someone will say fair Allah, and the person will say you fair Allah.
I'm not sure about hadith, but there's an ayah in the Quran, Allah said, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اتَّقِ اللَّهَ أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ فَحَسْبُهُ جَهَنَّمْ. That the person, when he's told fear Allah, he becomes arrogant. He becomes arrogant. He's overtaken by arrogance. Who are you telling?
Another side point, I guess, on the same point is sometimes you have people, they won't reject it outright, but they'll try and weasel out of it. They'll try and find a way to, like the evidence is there, but they'll move around it. They'll try and, I say the best word I feel like is they'll just try and weasel away from it and try and get around it.
Slither away.
Yeah, it's just like
slide around.
It's not clear cut. It's not like, how they say that the scariest person, or the most dangerous is the innovator, because there's a mix of truth and falsehood within him. So it's like he mixes up the two. This guy is like, he's not outright rejecting it, so you can't even hold him on that. But it's just like he's just moving in a very slithery way. But one thing and this is what we were discussing earlier, is to mention as well on this point, is that doesn't necessarily mean though, there may be a time where people actually genuinely disagree with evidences, both sides have evidences, the scholars have differed on this particular issue. You can't now say, oh, this guy doesn't follow the evidence, like don't take it extreme, like that can become hizbiyah. And we've seen many groups and sects out there today that are very
100%, yeah,
hizbiyah on this
definitely.
particular issue. Another characteristic of such people sometimes can be just the fact that they just don't have aql. Sometimes they're just deficient in their intellect, and it may be that they, some people just, they're just not smart, and that might lead them to doing things that could be at your detriment. Sometimes it's because they're just, like I said, either mentally just not unwell, or like I said, sometimes they're just not the smartest, and that's something which is. It's sad because at the same time, the person can't necessarily help that, but just know that could be a reason for you to suffer big time. Like I remember there's a brother, right, and I do believe he's got some like mental health problems. May Allah make it easy for him. And he used to ask for help, and bro, there were times where I spent hours on the phone to him, hours on the phone trying to help him and whatnot. Nothing would ever get implemented. Nothing would ever get changed, and the same issues would happen. And eventually, got to a point where, bro, I got too busy now, like. And then he ended up turning on me and saying, oh, you're this, and you're this, and you're this, and you're this, and you're this. And I was just like, bro, like, whoa, like. And I realized, bro, I just can't entertain this anymore. Like, this is...
And that happened like four or five times.
With the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, bro, that happened like maybe 10 times with the same guy. And I really tried, and I tried, and I tried. And I realized, bro, this is just long. And this is just not going to work.
Yeah, well, sometimes, because look, we're going to talk about this issue later, but, when you have issues with people, it's always good to seek arbitration, right? Seek tahakum. And one thing I notice is that sometimes the person that you might have an issue with, because now there's two of you and you've got a judge, an Islamic judge, like a sheikh, that's judging between two of you. You can see maybe this person it's not that he's evil. He just doesn't understand. But now a potential person's lack of understanding has now brought you to a situation where you're now before a judge, and it's like, and you're beefing. And
the result ends up being the same. It's just that one, there was intent behind it, and here there wasn't intent behind it.
Yeah.
So it's like, but the issue is, the point is, but I'm still in the same position. I can make an excuse for you, and I can think, you know what, no problem. Like, I get it, but I just can't. I can't deal with this. Here, it's just like, bro, like, you're actually like malicious. Yeah. So you deal with the two.
And the worst is the guy was both
different.
The worst is the guy's both. He's stupid, aqlan, and he's a shaitan qalban. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, look, there are always telltale signs. For the first one, you can see evidence presented, and he kind of takes it light. Second one, you can see the brother just doesn't get things. Like, he's just not smart.
Another one, negative assumptions.
Negative assumptions in
someone who's like, they're awesome. Their default is to always negatively assume food.
to negatively assume of yourself or just generally with people.
Yeah, sort of done, innit? When people have sort of done of people. As in,
Yeah,
he has
you-
an issue with you is only because he's thinking negatively.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of characteristic, one of the things that it really shows is pessimism in a person. Like that person is very pessimistic. If a person can't see the good in things and the good in people, he's always bringing around the negative things. He's pessimistic, and that's definitely a person that's already dragging himself down. He'll drag you as well. He'll drag you as well. And I've seen that in many cases. I know a few people, even that I've had relationships with in the past, but due to their constant negative assumption, every little thing, and nah, but he said it like this, oh, she said it like that, or it was like this, always like that. And in the end of it, it's like you can feel that this person is pulling you down at the very same time. And then it just gets worse the moment that they actually start having an assumption of you as well. But
That I think is a key point, and that's actually the next point as well, which is watch how they are with other people, because that's a sign of how they're going to be with you. They might not be with you like that right now. Right now, you're gossiping together. They're gossiping to you about someone else. Right now, they do. But there will come a day, they will turn on you. Because if they're going to come to you and backbite others to you, if they're going to lie about others to you, don't be surprised one day when they turn around and do the same thing to you. And if you didn't stop it and you entertained it, you allowed it, number one, you might be sharing in the sin with them because you didn't stop it. But number two, you got only yourself to blame. You left yourself open to that.
I mentioned to you, there's a brother who basically had issues with another brother, and he said some really harsh stuff to him, very harsh stuff. But the brother that he said the harsh things to, and he said things about him, he said to me, after they basically split up and they were no longer friends, he was like, and I'm still friends with that person, the one that said the things.
Yeah, you're friends with both.
Yeah, I'm friends with both. So the brother X, the one that's saying the rude stuff, I'm still friends with him. So brother A, though, he says to me, he said, look, he was like, if he's saying this about me and we were so close, he said it's only a matter of time until he does the same thing with you as well. And I was like, nah, it's not going to happen to me. So we have a different relationship, we're very close, this, that, and etc. And then recently it happened. And it shocked me because I did think about it. I was like, subhanAllah, it's something that I should have seen from a while ago, because there were these signs. It wasn't just him though. There were other people that he said things about, and this person and that person. This I should have.
Yeah, because when you're deep, you're like, bro, I've been seeing these signs for years. It was only man was like a particular, like you will notice in your relationships that the guy that ended up having the issue with you, bruv, he's been chopping down everyone around you. It was only a matter of time till he came and chopped you.
Yeah.
Now he chopped you, and now you're what?
It's true.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing those brothers who I didn't like the way they dealt with other people. I used to see that, I used to observe that, and that for me was like, it's a red flag.
Yeah, you were smart there. I'll be honest with you.
So-
Allah bet you were smart there.
Say that again?
No, I was like, over the years, there's been brothers that have come and gone, and many times I've seen brothers who I just didn't like the way they dealt with other people.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a red flag that I'm staying away from you.
Yeah,
I don't want to be around you. I don't want to get too close to you. Because if you can do that to my man, what's to say one day you're not going to do that to me?
To the
What's
point
say
where
you're
I
not
used
gonna do it someone else?
to get onto you, and I said, bro, why are you doing that, akhi? Mix with the brothers, akhi. Be about with the brothers. That's not good. And it's not that you weren't about with the brothers. Your thing was, bro, I just don't want man.
Even there's narrations that if you're sitting in a gathering and backbiting is happening, bro, leave.
100%.
Like, how many times is it that I've heard, bro, and bro, it's fun, like if sometimes we were the ones getting backbited in the same circles, we were still friends. Like, so it was just like, bro, like, just keep it.
There's another thing I was going to mention as well, is that in regards to certain friends and how their relationship is with other people. I've also noticed, if you know a person and you're friends with a person, and everybody else that they used to be friends with, they don't have a relationship with them anymore, that person is definitely problematic. If he can't keep relationships with other people and they all turn out sour, it's only a matter of time until it happens to you as well.
And
they leave behind like a trail of fire.
Yeah, and you'll notice some people, what's happening to them is that every season their brethren change. Some people every season his sheikh changes. I remember there was one guy, bro. Every season he's with a different sheikh. Oh, when he couldn't get the fatwa from him, he go to the next sheikh. Until now, I don't even see any sheikh. We're like guiding, man.
I mean,
and they're out here, bro,
now
misguiding the
they're just
people.
Now man's gone to another level now. I feel like there's definitely no people of knowledge there. If there are, like, who are they?
Who are they, bro? So we can stick it on them.
They need to be G-checked as well. The next thing, someone who lies. This is a big one. Because at the end of the day, friendship is based on trust.
Man.
It's based on there's a mutual respect. If a person is lying to you and you catch them lying to you, that's a huge red flag. It's a huge, and like it's like your word holds no value anymore. And there's a second, I guess, part to this, which is people who they don't lie, but they're not truthful either.
Yeah,
They're very ambiguous with their speech. And bro, I can't lie to you. Look, I'm a person, bro. I've used qawl mujmal, as we call it, ambiguous speech, now and again. There were times, I'll give you guys an example, right? I don't know if to keep this in because it might reflect badly. But there were times, for example, we were in Ustad's house doing for class, and my dad thought I was in uni. This time I had dropped out of uni, but I hadn't officially made it clear to everyone yet. So my dad would call me and ask you, where are you? I said, I'm in the library. I was in the library.
In his library.
I was in Ustad's library, not the uni library, but I just said I was in the library. That's not technically a lie, but it's not the whole truth either.
Yeah.
But those are like few and far in between, like only situations.
By the way, the scholars mentioned there are conditions to do that, and I think, may Allah Azza wa Jal forgive us, at a time when we were a bit juvenile, we kind of used it a bit unrestrictedly and a bit too openly. Like Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala in his
This was
Kitab
8 years
al-Afkar.
ago, by the way. I was like 17.
Imam al-Nawawi in his Kitab al-Afkar, he mentions conditions, but that's a topic discussion for a different day. The first brother from our group of brothers that kind of noticed this was Abbas.
Yeah.
Abbas was like, bro.
He really pulled us out on it.
Yeah. He's like, he was like, this needs to stop. And he said, I have made a decision from this day forward. I'm not going to be ambiguous in my speech. I used to do it a lot. One of the reasons I was a bit ambiguous in my speech was because I used to not want to upset people.
Yeah, that was a big problem.
Yeah, it was. But now, what happens is you realize they end up
they still end up getting upset.
still end up getting upset. So now I'm just direct, nice and direct. Be candid and be kind. Be kind.
In fact, I would even say a person who's ambiguous is more dangerous than a person who lies.
100%.
Because the one who lies, you know where you stand.
Yeah.
Here it's like, bro, I don't know. Like, what do I take from what you say? Are you telling the truth? Or you know when you tell me you're gonna be there in 5 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? Like, what does 5 minutes?
Yeah,
mean?
like literally. Let me give you like. I won't mention an absolute real life situation, but I'll give you something for the people to be able to get a taste of what a real life situation was. Yeah. So we're saying a guy's coming to link you. Yo, Ag, where are you? I'm 5 minutes away. So he goes on 5 away. Does that make sense? Or he say to you, I'm 5 minutes away. And then you say to him, cool, half an hour go by. He said, yeah, I'm 5 minutes away from the bus stop. I didn't tell you where I was 5 minutes away from. Does that make sense? Then I say to you, okay, cool. Where are you 5 minutes away from? He said, how far are you now? 5 minutes away. Cool. Call him back. Ack. Half an hour later, where are you? Yeah, in X place. But that's not 5 minutes away. You told me half an hour ago, 5 minutes away. 5 minutes away, not in terms of the dunya. 5 minutes in terms of maybe like,
Crypto.
Yeah. The akhir or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying kind of people where you have to say to, where are you? I'm around the corner. Where? Which corner? I've had friends I've had to do that with.
Send me your location on WhatsApp.
Yeah, literally, bro. That's what I had to come down
Send
to.
me a picture.
That's what I had to come
Hold a
down.
spoon in the picture so I know it's a recent picture.
And I'm saying, bro, me and you can't be brethren, bro. Like, you can't be brethren, bro. Like, the worst is when they do that when it's contracts. Bro, you have to be at work at 9 a.m. For example, yeah? I'm just giving you a hypothetical example. You have to be at work at 9 a.m.
But I started reading a book which is part of my work at 9 a.m. on the way to work. So I got to the office. It didn't say get to the office.
At 9 a.m.
It says start work at 9 a.m.
And bro, mad. Anyway, if the guy lies, that goes without saying. If I have to explain to you why you shouldn't have friends that are liars, then that's tapped. Maybe you deserve them. But a guy who's ambiguous, that's one that's subtle, man.
And if you yourself do this, try your best to stop. Like, it's not something that's healthy. It's gonna get you in a mess.
It has like a snowball effect.
It has a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And it's, how they say one lie leads to another lie leads to another lie. It's similar with mujmal. Like, and by the way, people might be wondering, wait, like I thought, how is that any different to lying? Why is that haram? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the evidence for it is the issue of was it Abu Hurairah? Someone asked him.
But point being, look, it's not a lie. It's not a lie. Shar'an, it's not a lie.
The clearer you are in your speech, the better it is.
But my point is, what ends up happening, there's the problem, is that when you carry on with ambiguity, you end up
in situations where you're either going to lie or everything's going to become unraveled. And in that situation of pressure, you might crumble and lie.
To the point where there's couple people that I've had these situations with, I was pretty sure they were lying to me. It got to a point where it was just a lie now.
So I guess the only real difference is the one who's lying, there's a sin on him.
Yeah.
His word holds no value to you anymore, but there's a sin on him. The one who's just being ambiguous, his word still holds no value to you because you don't know if he's lying to you in the truth, but there just might not be a sin on him.
No, but they might even be because you're not allowed to. There's conditions to being ambiguous.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's conditions. Imam Nawawi discussing Kitab al-Afkar. Anyway.
Another thing, this one, for me personally, I hate this, is a person who has a victim mentality. They can never take accountability for their actions. Like there's certain brothers, that are still working with us now, who they might take an L, but they own it, and I like that.
Yeah, shout out to.
It's it'll be just my bad. Like, one of them is Abid.
Yeah.
If he does something goes wrong, he puts his hand up, he owns it. He's like, you know what? Yeah, my bad, bro.
Every time.
You said fountain. In my mind, I heard waterfall, and I ended up in the wrong place. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Or I said to him, bro, this is you here. And he's like, but
that makes you love him.
That makes you love him,
bro.
Because and that's one of our company values. Is like, be accountable. Anything that happens that goes wrong, straight away, even if it's not your fault, just take accountability for it, and then afterwards we can look into it. But don't just, it wasn't me, because there's certain people, bro, like, I can excuse you once. Let's say, for example, punctuality, a person's late. I can excuse you the first time. I can excuse you the second time. My driving instructor dropped me off somewhere else. Okay, no problem. Third day. And this happened to us so many times. We've had these issues with brothers over the years. Multiple brothers. And it's just like excuse after excuse. It was to the point where it's just like, bro, like, are we just being taken for mugs? Is it the fact that because we're brothers? Because think about it. Because that's what I ask myself. Is if you were working a corporate job, would you be the same if you had an actual office? No, but it's like you're taking advantage of our leniency or of our goodwill. Yeah, that's a very good point. Of our goodwill.
Ihsan.
So stop being late.
So back to the stop what?
Stop being late.
So come back to the victim point. Yeah, the victim point is jarring because the problem with friends or people or relationships or doing business with people that are victims are very negative. They don't take accountability, and they do one other thing. They rally the mob against you, and the mob always loves the victim. What do I mean by this? Let's just say there's a person, and you let's just say you decided, for example, you weren't going to work together or do business. You decided that you didn't want to do X, Y, Z. Something where no one's rights been violated. His rights not been violated. Your rights not been violated. It's whatever. But he feels victim. Like he's always like, no, you've done me wrong. Does that make sense? Let alone if he's oppressed you and he's wronged you, and he feels that. Or sometimes you might have wronged him, and then definitely he's gonna take this victim thing to a different level. Now what does he do? Bro, he doesn't just keep it. He starts talking. He starts rallying the mob. And this will cause you problems amongst your circle, amongst your networks, amongst your community, amongst your people. Does that make sense? Them type of people there, if you know it's a victim mentality in a guy, and you know what the sad thing is, you see the victims, they're the ones you want to help. Because you identify, this is the problem that man suffered with for years. Like, I'll identify the victim and I'll say, he needs help. He's a victim. Only because he's come and played his victim card on me from before of my man done XYZ to me. So I'm like, he's a victim.
So he manipulated you.
Rah. I'm a victim.
Next one, Saad. Someone who depends on you. Why is this a problem? Someone's just dependent on you and you alone.
Well, in so many ways. It's so many ways. It's just, if a person fully relies upon you in all aspects, in terms of money, in terms of their emotional need, physical need, whatever it may be, a day's gonna come where you're not gonna be able to be there for them. A moment's gonna come, and they're gonna take it deep. They're gonna take it real deep, and that pain that person's gonna harbor in the process of that, it turns into something ugly, real ugly. And I feel
get
like
offended by each and every little small thing.
Every little thing. Why you not pick up my phone call? I need to speak to you. I need money. Why can't you give me money? These small little issues, I can take a lot of offense to. And I feel like that is a very, very difficult character to deal with. Very difficult character. I feel like some people, they also see that in terms of their marriage lives as well, right? In terms of their spouses. When they become overly dependent. Where it's like, they won't even move an inch until you come home and do anything until you tell them. And that obviously causes issues as well. When
Sometimes I feel like it's a deeper issue. Sometimes
actually,
it's
you know
almost
what?
as if
There was something that happened. For example, the whole issue of Pakistan. No,
Oh, it's true.
with the brother in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if someone there, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
for example, okay, let me give you an
No,
example.
no,
Let me give you a
I'll
hypothetical.
give you an example.
Okay, go on.
Right? It's
Had a pound for every time yeah was said in those 10 seconds.
so there's
Basically, if a brother is really heavily reliant upon you, financially, emotionally, bro, a day's gonna come where you're gonna go to McDonald's and not have enough for everyone to get a portion of fries. So either you're gonna starve or they're gonna starve.
On this note, like I feel like sometimes
And the hustle is feed your brothers, 100%. But the point is, bro, a relationship shouldn't be one where there's more expected on you than could. Look, let me break down to you this way. This glass.
Yeah.
This glass. People look at this glass. This glass, is it fragile?
Yes.
If I dash it on the floor, what happens?
It could break.
It breaks, it will smash. So, if I place the glass right here on the edge, okay? Literally, it's hanging off the edge. If this glass falls, do I blame the table or do I blame myself for putting it in a place that was unsafe? A place where you shouldn't be placing fragile things.
depends if you got victim mentality, you blame the table.
You blame the table.
If you're a saint and you have apple, then you blame
yourself.
Blame yourself.
But well, I don't ever see a situation. Normal man will put this here and it falls and smashes and goes, you stupid table, you eat, I'm taking you back to the manufacturer. No, you say, I think, yeah, some people would. Yeah, but we would say, bro, why did you place something fragile in a place where it was in danger? Now, I'm saying some people treat relationships like that, where your heart is the glass and they give you too much of their heart.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like sometimes what it can end up as is a person will have I don't have ultimate reliance in you, but to the point where there's reliance that it's only in Allah.
It's only in Allah,
and they'll put that reliance in people.
Yeah.
And that's where because bro, Allah will never let you down.
But man's a human.
Man's a human, but a human will let you down. So if you're relying on
the
him,
table, don't blame me.
the way if you're relying on a guy the way you should be relying only on Allah, bro, you are gonna get let down. Your heart is gonna break. Now let's move on to things that you can do to shield yourself. This is number 3. Things to shield yourself from such potential backstabbers. And the first thing that I would like to say, I feel like this is something that I used to do early on, perhaps like as we said earlier, maybe a little bit too much, is keep your circle small. Have few people that you can call very close friends who you open up to, you know, completely, you know, let all the guards down. Other than that, there has to be layers, bro. You have to have an onion. There have to be layers of filters that you have that you keep up depending on the people that you're around. Like a person, for example, like, and this is, if you think about it, we live in a day and age where everyone's friends with everyone. Like social media has allowed that to happen. Everyone feels like they know a person. Look, trust me, I know him. I follow him. I like his posts. He comments on mine. I comment on his. You don't know him, bro. What are you talking about?
True,
I've been to his classes. You know, I know him. No, you don't. You've chilled with him 1-2 times after a class, or you play football with him. You don't know him. Stop opening up to him the same way you do to a person who is, you know, your close companion.
Yeah, my father used to always say, man, your friends are what you can count on one hand. Anything more than that?
I was it there, yeah?
Yeah, he said it to me all the time.
Yeah,
He said it to me all the time.
Literally.
Your friends are what you can count on one hand. He's saying, because I say, I got that 20 friends, 30 friends. He told me, no, you don't.
No.
He says, they just, as in, the way I am with my closest friends, or the word friend, if I use the same word for Abu Bakr and Abbas and a brother who I see once a week, for example, friend, if that same word describes all of these relationships, remember, because of my closeness with Abu Bakr, with you, I'm going to reveal certain things. I'm going to sometimes relax a certain way. I'm going to joke a certain way with you that you would, because you understand me. Oh, that's...
If I ever turn this game over, boy.
Likewise. You understand? I might delete WhatsApp, but Abbas has still got the chats room. I decided to save all my WhatsApp chats from now on as well, by the way. That's another thing. Save. If I could just mention that as a tip in this, Bro, save all your WhatsApp conversations. Anyways, point being is that, what's the point I was making?
Don't treat your friends. Don't give them the same label.
Yeah. I'm saying if now me, this is my friend. So if I'm with him a bit more relaxed and I let him into my house a certain way, he sees certain things in my life and whatnot that kind of make me vulnerable to a degree, right? The closer someone is to you, the more he knows you, the more he knows your vulnerabilities and whatnot. If the guy I see once a week, I give him the same title of friend. In my mind, I have no filter, as you mentioned. So I'm automatically going to joke with him and confide in him and bring him into spaces and let him see a part of me the way I let my brother, who's my friend, and you, and the other 1-2 brothers that I'm very close with. Now, what happens is that imagine you see like 20 different people once a week and they are all your friends. Bro, you've literally let everyone in and you become vulnerable to everyone, but not all of them are good people. Some of them are victims. Some of them don't fear Allah. Some of them are liars. Some of them are ambiguous. Some of them are backstabbers. And it's like...
But also on that point, don't limit it to how frequent you see someone either. Because it might be a person, for whatever reason, you see him every day. But that still doesn't mean that he's your closest friend.
Close friend, yeah.
So you might see him because of work. You might see him because of, you see him in the masjid. You might see him because he lives here. He might be your neighbor. You see him every day. That doesn't necessitate that he's your close friend. There's levels, there's things, literally like, a person should be in your life for years before you consider them to be a friend. Years. Because you can't know someone that quickly, bro.
Yeah,
Same like with marriage. Before marriage, really and truly, you can't ever fully get to know a person. You can do your background checks and references and this, that, but you will never fully know a person until you're into it. That's why one of the reasons why in the previous podcast we did on the issue of person should divorce, we spoke about the issue of wait before you have children. Because you don't truly know a person. It'll take time to get to know a person.
Obviously do istikhara and you shouldn't be paranoid and only Allah knows what's really in the hearts of the people, you know what I'm saying, and don't want to deprive people of having kids. Just generally in this day and age, that's the advice that we give just to be on the safe side. Because
another extremely important point.
So just want to mention, because you mentioned that as the first, a better point, I think a more of an important point about the kind of people you should make friends with is someone who's a believer that fears Allah. And the evidence is that Hadith sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La tusahib illa mu'mina." Don't become friends with anyone except he's a believer. And the Prophet ﷺ said, don't let anyone eat your food except he's a muttaqi, he fears Allah. Now what does that mean, don't let anyone eat your food unless he's a muttaqi? Does it mean I can't feed a kafir food? Does it mean I can't feed a person who sins food, I can't give him sadaqah? No, it doesn't mean that.
Let them into your house.
Into your house. Feed your food in your fridge, your dining table. In a sense where, look at the Prophet, he said muttaqi, he fears Allah. He's got that characteristic of Allah's mentioned. Wait, this is serious now. He's got that characteristic of stopping at the evidence. This is the first thing you look for as a friend. And what's amazing, to be honest, is
you invite too many men to your yard.
To the point, to give you guys a flavour. Like I invite, and I stopped. But can I show you how peak it was? Like one brother, I brought him into my yard. This brother got so comfortable. He would bring people that I didn't know to my yard. And I would tell him, yo, stop, bro. And this brother wouldn't. And one time I had to really tell him, yo, stop bringing random strangers. Like, I have sisters here. One time I came home, unbeknown to my sisters who were upstairs, my parents were out of the house and there's a bunch of men in my living room downstairs. So I walked into the house because I just got off the phone to my parents, they've left. And they told me my sister's upstairs, so I'm expecting to go home to an empty yard and I see a bunch of men in the living room. I said, what are you lot doing here, bro? My sister's upstairs. And I don't even know who you are, bruv. I remember one time I came downstairs, this brother had let in a don who was sleeping on my couch, bro. I was baffed.
Who's this guy?
I came downstairs, I saw a brother just conked on my couch. And I was like, bro, who are you?
It's funny, it's the first time.
Actually knew that, brother.
First time I ever came to your house. I actually conked on your couch. Just after the Arabic class.
But you know what's shocking? That this same brother...
But you brought me to your
house. I brought you to my yard. But this same brother, he did. But I brought that brother too. But this guy let in a crowd. I'm saying, anyway, that brother, he turned out to be what? He turned out to be a person who went towards bid'ah. He started talking, making lies. Don't let someone in your house not muttaqi. You know what I'm saying?
The next thing, very important. We have to kind of go through these a little bit faster now. Don't say anything in private that you wouldn't be comfortable with it being put out in public. This is profound because, as you said, going back to what I said about having the layers, having the filters. It's very easy when you're around someone all the time and you see them regularly for those guards to be dropped. You might have someone who's, let's just say, a level 1 friend and someone who's, a level 7 friend, but you're together, so that you're making jokes because your level 1 friend's there, not realizing this level 7 guy who just came into the party recently. He's there listening and he's thinking, "Wow, that's a bit mad."
I'll tell you guys a personal story, right? So I had there was a brother who was a lawyer in the UK, and he used to work with people that had like serious cases and whatnot, and people who were trying to like send spies, and I was a victim of one of those situations. Someone like sent a spy to me to record me. They tried to get me to say certain things, and they made a documentary about me and the whole shebang. They tried to basically make me out to be an extremist. Alhamdulillah, they got nothing on me. But there was a brother who advised me. He wasn't a lawyer, but he used to work with one organization. And he said to me, just generally said, Imran, I'll give you a word of advice. Is the way you protect yourself from these situations was don't say anything in private that you wouldn't say in public.
Even if you're joking.
He just said unrestricted.
Unrestricted.
So I was like, that's powerful. 10 years later, I didn't learn my lesson. Like, for example, recently there was a situation where, there's a joke. There's a joke that started a while ago with some of our friends, right? Where the joke was that I won't mention it, but there was a joke. There's a joke. And one of the brothers who was close, and I would have seen him as a friend, heard the joke, but through the filters of negative assumptions and all of these other 1, 2, whatever, he was like, man's not joking. Man's serious. He's actually, he took the joke as it wasn't a joke. And now this joke, I wouldn't make it in public. The point that I'm trying to get at is that the lesson that I should have learnt was, even amongst people I consider my close friends and whatnot, like a joke's a joke, isn't it? It's not serious. But point being is that, bro, I mean, it could even turn a friend into a foe. Because maybe he took it seriously. Like, maybe he thinks that there is an element of truth in that joke, or maybe he's got lenses in which he's interpreted it to be true. My point is, just don't say things in private that you wouldn't say in public. Not even to your closest friends. Like, even we said the other day, we said, bro, I think we need to stop joking. Like, because it's true, I might joke with you and I'll be the wrong way one day, and that annoys you. And only, like, the hearts are between the fingers of Ar-Rahman. We don't know, right? The heart, it changes, it doesn't. So yeah, don't say things to people, joke or not joke. Don't say things in private that you're not prepared to say publicly. And
just to clarify, because we don't want you to end up falling into what we said earlier, which is a negative trait, which is of negative assumptions. We're just paranoid, thinking, like this guy, I can't, like, don't take it to an extreme. We're always saying is be cautious.
Yeah.
Have good assumptions of your Muslim brothers and your sisters, but just be cautious. Don't let your guard down too easily. Just protect yourself. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, the point here is not to make you paranoid with your friends. The point here is it's not that you don't trust your brothers, it's that you don't trust shaitan. Because look, Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, Inna shaitan al-insani aduwwun mubin, and this is that certainly shaitan to you is a clear-cut enemy, and this is in the context of Yusuf being oppressed by his own brothers. And Yaqub is telling him, don't tell your brothers this dream. Brothers, akhi, blood brothers. Don't tell them because they might plot against you. And then he said, shaitan is an enemy, as in not them. That shaitan will create problems between you. So then it's like certain things, don't do certain things that can create problems even amongst your closest friends. The ones who are well-wishers.
Sorry.
Just to add on to that point, right, about telling people too much information. There's the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in Sahih Bukhari, where he mentioned that if a person has a good dream, then you should only narrate it onto liman yuhib, to someone that you love. And I like the statement that Imam An-Nawawi he put in this hadith. He said, the reason why you only tell the person that you love, and you know that they love for you as well, is because if you tell the wrong person, they're going to try to do what? It's going to cause them to have hasad towards you and have envy towards you because you had a good dream and something good happened to you, they didn't receive it. Either they show hasad towards you that will cause enmity, or they might even try to interpret for you, which will also lead to another problem as well.
What's the problem it will lead to if they interpret for you?
It's haram. Yeah, to interpret a dream without knowledge. But they do it just in order to bring you down, so that nah, it doesn't mean that.
That's, by the way, something that we missed in the previous section of
As in
characteristics.
for them to say, what do you call it?
You, for example, let's say Matthew, you have a dream that you're driving expensive cars, and
It's a sign that you're chasing dunya.
Chasing dunya, akhi. Yeah, literally.
But I think that's an important point we should have mentioned in the previous one, which is the issue of jealousy. If you see someone who has a trait of jealousy when they're talking about other people, why is he doing this business, bro? You shouldn't have done this.
You know, most people won't say why he's
haram.
doing his business. You'll see, as in, no, look, guys don't usually show their jealousy like that. They show it indirectly.
But I guess we'll talk about that later. inshallah.